Hi friends, once again welcome to this video tutorial. It is in continuation to the earlier video, planting and its methods. This video will cover transplanting or replanting in detail, plant geometry and its patterns, significance of transplanting. So let us first of all understand what we mean by the transplanting. Transplanting is an indirect planting method and is a technique of moving a plant from one growing medium to another, from one location to another. So it's a simple term, replanting or transplanting. So it also refers to planting with the use of pre-grown seedlings. Suitable sized seedlings are planted in the field for further development. Planting seedlings in the main field after pulling from the nursery. So you are getting a pre-grown seedlings and there you are planting them in the field. So transplanting or replanting is an indirect planting method where you are taking a pre-grown seedling from the nursery and you are putting it or planting it in the main field. This is how transplanting is done in rice, where you are taking the seedlings which have been grown in the nursery and then they are being transplanted in a particular pattern in the rice fields or in the open fields by means of mechanical means or by manual means. So transplanting means replanting. First of all, you have to raise seedlings in the nurseries. There are agricultural technologies which facilitate raising of healthy and sturdy seedlings in nurseries under protected conditions, ensure healthy plant establishment, good survival of seedlings in the field. And so seedlings are raised either from seeds or vegetative parts, and it's practiced for many agricultural, horticultural and ornamental crops. So you are raising seedlings in nurseries, you have the agriculture technologies available, you have the greenhouse facilities available where you are using doing for agricultural, horticultural and ornamental crops. So seedlings are raised in nursery in pro trays or root trainers. So these are the root trainers or the pro trays where you are making the holes. You have filled up these trainers with a soilless medium, and then you are making holes and putting seeds into it, and the seedlings are produced there. So that means there is a raising of seedlings before transplanting. It's done in nurseries, and then you are using the medium that is a soilless rooting medium, which is preferred. And it should be a good growing medium is critical for root establishment. So it's a key factor for successful nursery production. It should have certain characteristics like it should have good water holding capacity, good aeration and nutrient holding capacity, which is essential for optimum root growth. So pro trays are filled with planting medium comprising of coco peat or vermiculite. Coco peat is a biodegradable fibrous material, a byproduct of coconut husk. Vermiculite is a natural mineral. It's a hydrated laminar magnesium aluminum iron silicate. This is powder of coco peat, which is kept in water, and this is the different grades of the 3 grades of the vermiculite. Vermiculite was given by T.H. Webb in 1824. It's a Latin word, vermiculare. Vermiculare is meaning a breed worms. Actually, upon heating, this material expands into a long strand resembling small worms. That is why it has been given a name vermiculite. Otherwise, it is a natural mineral. So when you are making the pro trays with this soilless medium, then you sow the seeds. Sowing can be done manually or with seed sowing machines. Manually with fingertips or pencil. A hole is made at the center of each plug, as you have seen in the earlier slide. One seed sown in each depression and covered with the coco peat. Quick seed sowing is done by seed sowing machines. The seeded pro trays are covered with polythene sheets and kept undisturbed for few days till germination starts. Black polythene sheets can be used to cover the pro trays, and it facilitates warmer temperature to initiate germination. Better germination of seeds depends upon the temperature. So see, when the seeds are to be germinated, it should have a good temperature. Warm and uniform moisture in the medium. The ideal temperature in root zone for tomato and brinjal is 21 degrees to 24 degrees. Chili and capsicum is 28 to 32 degrees. The ideal root zone temperature is 26 to 29, 4 weeks of growth of seedling, first 4 weeks, and 20 to 26 during the 5th and the 6th weeks. And so that means you have to maintain a temperature in the greenhouse where you are raising the seedlings. The temperature is to be maintained as per the plant material which is being propagated. Polythene sheets must be removed after germination. So this is a sort of mulching is being done. The aim is to basically increase the temperature which is ideal for the growth of the roots. A tray should be sprinkled with water. And what are the treatments before transplanting? You have raised the seedling in a nursery. Now they are to be transplanted. What treatments it requires before transplanting? Seedlings should be hardened off for 1 to 2 weeks. It should be well nourished, well irrigated, but you should always avoid the overwatering. Medium moistened before removing seedlings. Nutrition supplements be applied through foliar applications. And roots can be soaked with nitrogen and phosphorus once at 12th day after germination. Micronutrient mixtures can be sprayed 15 days before transplanting. Soil must remain adhered with roots, and seedlings should be taken carefully without shaking its roots. These are some of the precautions and the treatments before transplanting. That you will have to see its nourishment. You have to see that roots are not disturbed, and you have to see that the supplements are given to it and it's well nourished and well irrigated. What are the steps involved in transplantation? Now you have the seedling which is healthy. It can be planted either directly in the field or planted for more duration in a soil filled perforated polypods. So you have a choice here. You can directly put it in the field after hardened off, or you can kept it for more duration in polypods. Then after splitting the polypod bags, the seedlings are planted in the field along with soil column. It ensures good growth, maximum survival rate of the transplants. The soil surface should be made weed free. Soil should be moist during dry weather, and planting area be watered a day prior to planting. When you are replanting or transplanting, you have to take care of the field where you are growing it. It should be watered prior to planting. Seedlings should be immediately planted in a hole or a pit to avoid drying up of roots. Pit made with hoe or spade for holding the seedling. Pit should have dimensions twice as wide as root ball, because you have to give an ample space to the developing root system. For that, when you are making a pit or a hole, it should have dimensions twice as wide as root ball. Depth should be almost similar to that of the pot. So the column of this pit should be as that of the pot. Seedling be carefully removed from container without disturbing the roots. So there's a technique. You can unpot a seedling by turning its pot upside down, and then you can do the cupping the seedling with your hand. Always ensure that root mass and soil remains intact. If the seedling does not come out easily, sometimes you have a problem that it is fixed with the pot. Don't fiddle it. Gently tap on the edge of the pot. Press on the bottom of each cell of a flat if it is in a tray. Avoid removal of plant through vigorous pulling of its stem. So sometimes you have a plant which is well within the pot, and you have the difficulty in removing it. Don't pull it vigorously. So you can gently tap the edges of the pot, or you can press the bottom so that the plant is easily taken out, and the cupping of the seedling is done with your hand. And then you should have the root balls should be thoroughly checked. When you are taking out the seedling, you should check the root balls of it. If roots are wound around the pot, carefully unwound the large roots and break the smaller ones. Add liquid fertilizer or compost to the pit before planting. Each seedling should be put in a hole or a pit, and leaves should be above the soil surface level. Some plants prefer deeper planting. Suppose tomato seedlings. For that, what you do, you plant the tomato seedling and you remove the lower leaves and then put it in the soil because they need deeper plant. Ideal time to transplant seedlings is late afternoon on a cool and a cloudy day. And sometimes if you don't have this, because it helps us now, a recovery of transplants, why you choose the late afternoon or the cool and cloudy day? Because it helps recovery of transplants from transplanting shock. As plants are not exposed to midday heat and sun, because you are avoiding the midday heat and sun, replanting should be gently covered. Replanted seedling should be gently covered with displaced soil, and the soil should be compact around the roots with your hands. So you are using it step by step. You have taken a seedling, you have planted it in a pit. Now you are compacting the soil, loose soil around it with your hands, and you make a shallow soil basin around the base of the transplant. It serves as a moat around the roots of the seedling to hold water. Irrigation of seedlings should be done with gentle stream of water. Initial watering can be done on the day of plant transplantation or on the successive day. Proper mulching should be done around the planted seedlings. What are the advantages of transplanting? Since we have seen, you have planted or replanted a seedling. One thing is it is a reliable method and reduces the main field duration of crops, because you are taking a mature seedling which is sturdy, healthy, and that is why it is a reliable method. Success rate is more. And moreover, it reduces the main field duration because you are already taking a seedling of some age. Transplants mature sooner and give an earlier harvest. Give us higher yield as compared to direct seeding. For example, onion produces higher yield 936.3 tons per hectare than direct seeding, which only gives 19.5 tons per hectare. Matures earlier. These are the advantages of transplants. It matures in 104 days compared to the direct seeding method, 135 days. So there is an advantage of a transplant over direct seeding method. It reduces management of the crop in the main field. It ensures removal of unwanted weeds before replanting. So you have a time, because you are transplanting, before transplanting you have a time you can take out the weeds which are unwanted weeds before replanting or before transplanting. And it maintains crop uniformity because all the seedlings are of the same size and same age, so you have a crop uniformity. It promotes crop intensification, or that also called as the succession planting. That means it facilitates to grow more number of crops during one agriculture year in the same space, because it reduces your time, maturation time, so there can be an crop intensification or a succession planting. That means in a one agricultural year you can plant more number of crops in the same space. It costs more but promises more predictable yield. Allows extra care for tender seedlings. The rate of success is higher, hence produces a bumper crop. Successful survival percentage reported 3 times higher than direct seeding. It ensures optimum plant population. These are the advantages or significances of transplantation. It is support to local farmers and garden centers which are dealing with the raising of the seedlings in nurseries. Ensures availability of seedling at the beginning of the planting season, and also the availability of plant material throughout the growing season. Transplants are more resistant to insect and other pests. Transplants are mature and stronger at the time of replanting. Transplanting can give more control over growing conditions. You can have a best soil pest management because you have a time for such approaches. There can be predictable results in the garden because you are taking a steady seedling, healthy seedling, and you can predict the results in the garden. But with so many advantages, there are always some disadvantages. The disadvantages of transplanting is raising seedlings in nursery is expensive, because transplanting is only possible, or replanting is only possible when you have a nursery where you can raise the seedlings. Pre-grown seedlings are grown in nurseries, so it's expensive. Transplanting is laborious and expensive method. It is labor intensive. It's expensive method, and it takes more time. More chances of plant wilting and dehydration at high temperatures. Require advanced planning to ensure round the year availability of the seedlings. That is very important. You cannot take the things for granted. You have to plan in advance to ensure round the year availability of the seedlings, because all depends upon your nursery operations. Then transplantation can be successful. Now let us understand how you will transplant in the field. The plant geometry and its various patterns. Plant geometry refers to an area occupied by a single plant. It's the arrangement of the plants in rows and columns. These are the columns, these are the rows. It's aimed to efficiently utilize natural resources. See, in transplantation, you have to take care of your seedling, optimization of the natural resources, and the efficient use of the natural resources for each seedling. For that, you will have to understand the plant geometry. So it is aimed to efficiently utilize natural resources like light, water, nutrients, and space. Crop geometric patterns. Geometric patterns, they are of four types. One is random plant geometry, square plant geometry, rectangular plant geometry, which are itself of three types: solid row, paired row, and skip row. And the fourth one is the triangular method. As the method geometric patterns, it's on the basis of the pattern. Whether you will have a random pattern, you will have a square pattern, you have a rectangular pattern, or you have a triangular pattern. First of all, let's understand the random method. Random method is one, no uniform spacing is maintained. As the word random, no uniform spacing. Due to broadcasting method of sowing, no proper utilization of resources is there. Resource either underutilized or overexploited. So here you are putting the seedlings in a random pattern. Depends upon the crop. In square method, each plant or a seed are placed at equal distance on either side. Here distance is maintained, here distance is maintained, and the distance is maintained. Same distance within the rows, that's within the rows, and between the rows. Within the rows, between the rows. Suitable for perennial crops and trees. This pattern is suitable for perennial crops and trees. Also used for close spaced crops like rice. The same pattern is followed for rice also, square method. Rectangular method and its types. Rectangular method, it has a wider row spacing than between plants in a column. So there is more spacing here between the rows than in the column between the plant to plant. So it will have a rectangular type of a pattern. Wider spacing between the rows, shorter spacing between plants in a column. So here you have more spacing between the rows, but between the plants there is a less spacing. That's why it is called as rectangular method. It can be a solid row, no proper spacing between plants in a row, no proper spacing between in a row, have definite row arrangements but no column arrangements. There are row arrangements. Row arrangements can be there, but there is no column arrangement. Followed in annual crops having tillering pattern. Tillering pattern means they have a bushy pattern. Here, number of the offshoots will be formed there. That's why there is no pattern in a column. It's called as a solid row. Example is wheat. Then the same rectangular pattern, there is a paired row arrangement. Paired row arrangement is there are two rows together. It is a paired row with regular rectangular arrangement. But distance between two paired rows is kept wider. These are the two rows, two columns and the rows, and these are the pair here. The distance between the two pairs is kept more, it's kept wider to accommodate intercrop. This area can be used for an intercrop or interculture. To accommodate an intercrop but base population kept constant. Only the space is kept between the paired rows. Then there is a skip row, a type of a rectangular arrangement. In this method, row of planting is skipped. So here is a row, this is another row, and this area is skipped here. In this method, row of planting is skipped, leads to reduction in a population because you are keeping an area empty, but it's practiced in rain-fed or dryland agriculture. So we have seen different types of the rectangular arrangements. As the triangular one, which is the fourth one, the name which signifies the triangle. Plants are positioned in a triangle pattern. So one is here, another is here, and so this is this way. The triangle pattern is better. The system accommodates more number of plants per unit area. It is suitable for wide spaced crops. Example, coconut and mango. So here the pattern is kept as triangle. So everywhere you will see a triangle pattern. So if plant is here, it's one plant is here, another will be here. So triangle pattern is followed all along. It's usually done for plants which need wider spaces. We call them as wider spaced crops. In coconut, in mango, this is also done. Now question is how we will determine the total number of plants needed for a given area. Suppose you have an area, you will have to understand how many seedlings are required. There is a simple calculation. We know the ideal spacing is 18 to 36 inches between rows of plants and 4 to 6 inches between the center of each plant. That is between the rows and within the row, the ideal spacing is 18 to 36 inches, 4 to 6 inches. So total space needed by each plant can be determined. You multiply the distance between plants within the row, that is x, by the distance between the rows, that is y. For a square pattern, planting pattern, plants are sown at equal distance on either side. Plants spaced, for example, 6 inches on center, that is on center, that is x is 6, and between the rows y is 6. So when you multiply it, it comes 36 inch square. You have a formula. Total number of plants for a given area can be calculated by taking the total number of square inches you have divided by the total number of inches needed by each plant. Suppose plant spaced 6 inches on center, each plant needs 36 square inches. Now, if total square footage of the planting area is 100 square feet, you have to convert feet into inches. So that means you have 100, you are multiplying it at 144, it becomes in inches 14400 square inches. And you are dividing it with the inches which one plant requires, that is 30 square inches, 36 square inches, that comes to 400 plants. So you can plant 400 plants in 100 square feet or in 14,400 square inches. We are using 144, that is used to convert the square feet into square inches. So you have got an idea. If you have an area, a particular area where you are planning a transplantation or the replanting, you must know how much is the seedling requirement for that area. That can be determined by taking the total number of square inches which a plant is and the total number of inches, the area which is available to you, and by the total number of inches needed by each plant. So that will give you the idea how much is your seedling requirement for a particular area. Now let us remember some of the points. While buying seedling, Remember, biggest does not always mean best. You should buy a healthy seedling. Don't get tempted that it is the biggest one. It should have consistent leaf color. Check it is thick and strong. It has a thick and strong stem. It has white and fibrous roots holding tightly the soil medium. If you don't get an ideal transplanting day, that means if you don't have a cloudy day and weather is hot and sunny, you shade the plants until the sun goes down. And don't be alarmed if your plants look little droopy. After you set them out, they will soon recover. Cabbage seedlings can droop and look almost dead, but will grow up in a day or two. Hope you have understood in this video. This video has helped you to understand transplanting or transplantation and its significance, and you have understood how different plant geometries are involved and how you can determine what is the seedling requirement for your growing area or the crop area. I hope this video has helped you, and our next video, which will be uploaded in coming days, will be the seed structure in its types and the dormancy and how to break the dormancy. Till the next video is uploaded, goodbye, stay safe and be happy. Thank you for watching. If you like the video, you can subscribe Green Treasure at this. Thank you very much.